At some point, did you observe the Nissan Altima in that area?
I did.
And can you just explain to us here as far as when you first observed that?
I was traveling south on Kalamazoo, approaching the area of Dickinson and Orville. I noticed the vehicle was traveling slowly, and as I had gotten fairly close to it, made an abrupt right-hand turn onto, I believe, Orville. At that point, I was able to run the license plate, and I continued south on Kalamazoo.
Now, what does it mean to run a license plate?
Essentially, we have a computer right next to us, and we're able to enter the license plate information into, giving us access to Lean, law enforcement information network, and Secretary of State information.
And running license plates, is that a common practice for you out on patrol every day?
It is.
How often would you say you run license plates?
Depending on the day, how busy I am, I could run up to 30 license plates a day.
Okay. When you ran the license plate, were you behind the vehicle then?
I was.
Were you ever able to even see the occupants inside of the vehicle?
No.
So the vehicle, Mr. McFarland, could you please pull up the map? Chris, can I just approach you here?
Yes.
Or can I approach the witness? I just want to get a laser pointer. You want to try that? So what direction were both?
It says Q at the corner. Is it exhibit Q?
Yes, I'm sorry. This is defendant's proposed exhibit Q.
Okay, Q was already admitted.
That's stipulated, okay.
Okay, so this is exhibit Q.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Chris, just to help us understand this a little bit, what direction were you driving and whereabouts were you when you first observed the Altima?
In this area, and I believe it was right around here, Kalamazoo and Orville, when I'd gotten fairly close to it.
Just to confirm that north is going up and south is going downwards here on this map.
Correct.
So if I have it right, you were traveling south and the Altima was traveling south in front of you?
Correct.
The Altima turned where?
I believe it was Orville.
Alright.
So they made a right-hand turn to head west on Orville.
And as it's turning, you type in the plate, and where do you continue while you're typing in the plate?
I continued south on Kalamazoo.
And just tell me, as far as running a plate, what's the norm with this system?
You'll type it in into a little box, and you usually experience some type of delay. So depending on the Wi-Fi connection at the time.
At some point, do you get a response from that?
I did.
The search. And what does that indicate to you?
I had gotten a response indicating that the license plate that I had ran didn't match the vehicle that I'd just seen, essentially.
Now, a plate that does not match a vehicle, is that a law violation?
It is.
Is it a legal justification to stop a vehicle?
It is.
So what did you do next?
Well, I had gotten the response prior to reaching Griggs. When I saw that I had gotten a response indicating an improper plate, I turned right onto Griggs and driven up to Newark, where I saw the Nissan traveling south on Newark, about mid-block or so.
What did you do next?
I went north on Newark in an attempt to just get eyes on the vehicle, verify it's the vehicle I saw, and also verify that I had the license plate information correct.
Is that something that you like to do in that situation?
Yeah, especially when it's super easy to fat finger a letter and potentially get an improper response on my own.
Okay. So now if I have it right, you're traveling north on Newark and the vehicle is traveling south towards you?
Correct.
And what happens next?
I turn right behind the vehicle as I'm passing it to check the license plate and to verify it entered it correctly, and I pull into a drive somewhere around here in an attempt to get behind this car so I can stop it.
And as you turned there, were you able to get a look at the license plate?
I was.
And what did that indicate?
That I'd ran the license plate correctly.
Now, throughout this trial, we've been watching videos, dash cam and body cam videos. When you turn into the driveway there to turn around, is this the moment that the cameras activate?
All right, you're going to correct me there.
Yeah.
And we've had people explain the
The
cameras.
camera, yeah. It's
Go
essentially,
ahead.
we're on a 30. That's where we see the camera start on all the videos that we've seen, just because of the 30-second delay. Yes.
Okay.
And if we heard it right from, I believe, the Axon expert as well as Detective or Captain Cyber talked about, a lot of times the camera's always running generally, is that right?
Correct.
But there's certain triggers that start the recording mechanism.
Starts the recording mechanism, and when that starts, it brings in the 30 seconds prior to that activation point.
So you had some type of trigger later on, and then it jumped back and started recording you to the point that you were turning around there.
Correct.
And does it activate your dash cam and your body cam?
Yes.
Okay.
So what did you do next after you turned around?
Well, I wanted to initiate a traffic stop on the vehicle, so as I turned around, the vehicle turns right onto Griggs from Newark, and that's essentially, then we see me starting to head this direction as well. And as I'm making this turn, the Nissan is making another right-hand turn onto Nelson.
So where did the Nissan start out up on Orville?
Somewhere in this area.
And it turned off Kalamazoo where?
Well, it turned off Kalamazoo in this area onto Orville, I believe. And that's where I lost sight of it and continued south after running the license plate.
Okay. So at this point, the Altima turned on to Orville, traveling down Newark, took a right on Griggs, is that right?
Yes.
And then took a right on Nelson?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So essentially, the vehicle was somewhat starting to drive in a circle?
Yes.
Right? Anything about when you turn around on a vehicle immediately after passing it, start turning around and then it starts driving, making a couple of right turns, anything about that is noticeable to police?
Just seems evasive. A lot of times people will change their direction just based on the sight of our fully marked cruisers.
So what did you do next here, Chris?
Well, I had gotten on the radio and notified dispatch that I was making a traffic stop.
Why were you making a traffic stop?
Why? Because the license plate didn't match the vehicle.
And that's a lawful justification to stop a vehicle, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So I think we've seen it on video, but you get on the radio and call out a traffic stop.
Yes.
What's the normal routine or expectation or common practice when a GRPD officer calls out a traffic stop? Just calling it out.
Essentially, I'm calling out the traffic stop to let my teammates know that I'm where I'm at and to head my direction.
Okay.
So that the expectation is someone should be heading that direction.
Did you request anyone to head
I
in that
didn't
direction?
actually say those words, but just calling out the traffic stop itself, that it provides that expectation.
Is that the normal routine that other cars may come over and, I'm not sure the terminology, but rolled past or something along those lines?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happens after you call out the traffic stop?
I started calling it out, and then I activated my overhead lights, which is when the cameras actually activate, and that's where we hear the sound. And then I proceed to finish calling out the traffic stop as I'm coming to a stop. At that point, the driver of the vehicle is exiting as I'm finishing my transmission.
Okay.